All right, let's start the lightning talks. The first speaker is my nemesis from last year. Please welcome to the stage Tatu Aalto.
No, this we are friends because you didn't participate on the lightning talk contest. Hi, I'm Tatu Aalto. I have been doing testing all my career, almost 25 years. In that, I have been 15 years part of the Robot Framework ecosystem. Like many of you beginners, I started asking questions, and I really remember the warm and welcomeness of our community. It was a really nice feeling. Past 10 years, I have been maintaining different kind of things in the ecosystem. I'm currently maintaining browser library. Ed, where are you? We're going to beat you. And currently, past year, I have been working with OP, and since last week, I'm the Robot Framework certified professional. Woo! But on the topic, trace files. Who has used trace files in the browser library? Cool. This 19 feature has a nice thing that Rene actually made it. Rene, where are you? You actually made it. Oh, he has his own booth over there at the top. You actually made it also in the Playwright core, that there's this grouping thing, which you see here. You actually can see which keyword called this action in the trace file. Even better, in the bottom, you actually see the whole test case. So now when you look at the trace file, you can actually see in which part of the test it's being executed. It's really cool. Thanks, Rene. That was a really good job. And the new thing in the 19.0 is the coverage thing. There are new keywords. There's start and stop coverage things. Unlike the context, you have to enable them for each page. And for each page, you get the coverage report. Basically, Playwright does the data collection, and there's the monocard coverage report. Hopefully I remember the name correctly. Is used to visualize the report. And if you look the log HTML and open that stop coverage keyword, there's a nice link for you, which takes you to actually the HTML report, which is generated by default. And you see this type of thing. You can see the percentages, how much is covered. You can cover JS and CS reports. And for example, if you click that last geolocation.html, you see this. You see a visualization, what parts of your test are covered in the actual code of the application. That's really cool, because now you have a discussion point for your developers. You can show that, hey, my acceptance test or my integration test are covering these part of the code. And it's a good discussion point. It's a really nice thing, because I remember discussing in my work with my other colleagues who were showing how they are using this thing. They said that while the coder was explaining this thing to them, he found a few bugs in the production, which he went and fixed. And that is a really good point. Also, monocard has different kind of features. You can create, instead of HTML, you can generate Markdown, or you can generate a low coverage file, which you can push to reporting type of systems. You have this fully integrated view that what your test is actually covering. And that's it. That are the two most important features in the browser library. Question?
Tatu is a professional. There's 3 minutes left for questions. Any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you, Tatu. Do you have anything else to say? Like you have some spare time?
Oh, well, you
can do another one.
Well, that came really fast, but I want to thank you for the foundation, because...
That's what she said. Bit slow, but yeah.
I want to thank the foundation because, well, not the René's thing, he made it that for free, but all the things that I made for the 19-point release was sponsored by the Robot Framework Foundation, and it was really fun doing it. I found the joy of doing again because I had the time actually the content on things, and I didn't have to rush for it in 15 minutes or in 30 minutes. I found the time to concentrate because of that funding.
That's nice. And I also loved like how much love you gave to Rene for building this nice thing.
He built it.
Really
It's
enjoyed
not under my me.
Shows a kind of community, or it's a good example of how good your community is.
It is.
Thank you, Tatu.
Thank you.
I'll toss that there. Next up, we have David. Please welcome to the stage David for his lightning talk.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back on stage to bring you another AI. So last year I was here and I was showing you how you can use AI, how you can use the Gen AI, the text creation of test cases. And I was thinking that I would like to bring something new again. And in this way, it's the AI agents. So what do we mean when we are talking about AI agents? What they actually do and how they differ? Well, an AI agent is basically a model that is connected to the real world. It can be through functions, through integrations. It can get data from database, or it can even send emails or send messages. So that's where we speak about agents. And I want to show you how you can do that, how you can try that. And it's really experimental. But first, how it actually works. So we have, for this, I'm using OpenAI, but I believe it will soon work similarly with other models as well. So basically, we have a model, and when we want to register a function, for example, like a Python function, get weather location, we tell the model that, hey, if a user asks about a weather, you can call this function getWeather with a location, and I will provide you with an answer. So I, as a developer, as a backend service, will provide you with the answer. So when the question comes and I receive a call to get weather with Paris, I can work my code, so I can run some integration. I can ask on some web page. I get the data, and when I have the raw data, I send it back to the model. In this way, the model now knows the current information, the actual one, and can return a message back to the user. So it will say it's currently 14 degrees Celsius. We will try a similar thing soon with Helsinki. And then there is something called orchestration. So we have this one model. Usually this one agent. Usually this is just the agent that is, for example, connected to one database. But what we can do, we can hook up multiple agents together to create an orchestration where a user can ask a simple question. The orchestration will decide to which agent the work should go. It can also go to multiple agents. Then it collects all the information and completes it for the user. So let's look at the code, how that looks. And as someone pointed out, doing live demos, it's dangerous. Doing live demos with AI, that's even crazier. So that's what I'm gonna do here. But first, how it looks like. So this is a Python code. We have also a wrap around it in a robot framework. So what we need to first define is the tools. It looks something like this. So for example, I'm having the method getWeather, and I'm setting up the properties. So in this type, it's the location. And this is all the setup that I need to provide to the AI agent. Then I create the agent. So here we are creating an assistant on the OpenAI library. We create some messages, the thread. So what you can tell me about weather in Finland. By the way, there are two functions. One is get city, so get capital city. And then the second one is to get the weather. And then we run everything. And here is also the integration. It uses mockup data, so just bear with me on that. So then I will just run the Python OpenAI. It will start doing some magic, hopefully. So it first creates the assistant, registers the two links. Yeah, it gets the capital. Perfect. Now it's getting the weather. And we have it there. So it's minus 5.8 degrees Celsius outside. So we had a simple agent. It went for the information and it returned it back. Then we can look on the orchestration itself. So this is a little bit different thing. So I created multiple agents that would work with test data retrieval. So I have multiple methods. I have store test results. So I can give it test result of a new test. I can get the test stats, and I can also send the messages to Discord. So let's do it as well. So Python, RSwarm. This is using RSwarm technology. You can try it. It's open source, and it's pretty cool and easy to set up. So I created some tests before. So get stats. So we can see that it goes to the stats agent. It's calling the methods, gets test stats, and then it prints out some tests that I have saved. So they are all saved within this CSV file. I could add a test, but because I don't have time, let me create one more thing. I will just do send. So I created also an integration to send a message to the Discord to see how it can interact with the real world. So message was sent, and I will go here. Yeah, sure, switch device. And I have the new message in our personal Discord through a webhook. So I could connect it to Teams or anything else. So this is how simple it is. We just define some agents, we just define some instructions to these agents, and then we connect them together. Let the AI to decide on the orchestration thing. It's just about setting up the right connectors and the right methods. And to also see how it can look then in Robot Framework. On the workshop, we created several libraries that were connecting to the OpenAI. This is one of those. So, for example, this is the first one that I was showing with the weather. This is how it can look like then in Robot Framework, but we are here doing some calculations. So it's simple as this. It's really good also to use. And I got it also available for you, so you can actually go to this GitHub. There is the full workshop that we had on Wednesday, I believe, or Tuesday. And you can find there how to generate this data with AI, how to do AI assistance. There is also the AI swarm, and I will upload there this example as well. So feel free to try that. I feel like this is really cool that we can connect these agents with the real examples, real data, real databases, and do some magic around that. Thank you.
Thank you, David. One question for David. And it's there on the left. All right.
Okay, thanks for the presentation. It's really good. But you showed on the slides that if you ask weather on the New York,
Yeah.
it showed them in the Fahrenheit. How important is the context in that, even with the tests? So, because if you would have said, how is the weather, let's say, in the US, would the model have said it in the Fahrenheit or in Celsius? Because now it's showed it in Celsius naturally. So how is the context and how does that work with the tests and everything?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and that's the thing about AI. I always preach it on conferences, shit in, shit out. That's basically AI. If you don't have the context, if the prompt is bad, then the output will be bad as well. So if you check the repository, we also did some prompting. It's all about prompting. Even when we generate data, it's about how to explain to AI what kind of outputs do we want. And this is also a slightly back to Mani's talk when he was mentioning, yeah, even though you specify what it should return, the exact JSON, the exact object, sometimes it's just return bullshit.
Thank you.
Good question. And I would say, like, if you haven't taken a look at Fabric AI, there's a good collection of ready-made patterns which are basically prompts for certain cases. It shows you how long the prompts can be, and still add value to it. And I think that's one thing. And maybe even have an agent that verifies the output or qualifies it at some point. Like, give a score, and if it's a bad score, then pass it again and ask like changes or force changes. Yeah.
This is actually what we are doing as well. So if you have an agent, you can create a QA loop. So you can have a different agent, which is like a QA, that is testing the output. And if it's wrong, send it back for evaluation. So yeah, this is the magic that you can do with the agents.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Awesome presentation. And we still have one more lightning talk to go. Please welcome to the stage, Michael.
Just as a heads up, I will eat into my questions time, so be forewarned. That does not seem right. Okay, better. Okay, over here. Thank you. Right. Okay, so regular expressions. I'm from Germany, so of course there's going to be a quick preamble. I'm told I'm a bit of a fast talker, so check out the recording afterwards. Also, there's going to be a QR code at the end. I know that you can't click links while I'm presenting, so yes, I know. I've got about 30 slides, about 7.5 minutes-ish, so yeah, buckle up. Anyway. Enjoy. So quick show of hands. Who hasn't used regular expressions before? Who doesn't know what regular expressions are, or who doesn't like regular expressions? Right, okay, so the last bit, I saw a couple of hands there. Good. So if there's even just one person I can convince to still use regular expressions after this talk, because I kind of think they're magic, yeah, just that's worth it to me. Ideally, I get you excited about them a little bit at least. Right. Okay. So probably all of you know this. I'm just going to go through it very quickly. The what now? At the most fundamental, regular expressions are search patterns represented by particular strings of characters. Expressions can either match or not match. So they are available in pretty much any programming language and many, many other places, which is where you look out for them next. So that being said, I kind of like to think of them as self-contained little puzzles. So, you know, how do I get to the goal with the least amount of characters? There's even contests for this. So like regular expression golf, kind of like cold golf. If anybody's into that, feel free to join. So yeah, enough with all of that, the theory. Let's show some examples. So in the little teaser I gave for the lightning talk, I had this, which is essentially, you know, if we're wanting to sort this, somebody had the brilliant idea of like putting the month first and then the day and then the year. I mean, who does that? I don't know. It's weird. Just, Ed, you know, don't listen. So anyway, yeah. So how do we go from here to here, right? That's the interesting thing. Now, of course, we could go in manually and everything, but we don't really want to do that. We kind of want to be a little more clever about it. Perfect. So what's in a date? Little Shakespeare reference here for the thespians among us. Okay. So we have this, which is basically our timestamp, and we're going to break it down into its constituent components, right? So we look at this, month, day, year. Perfect. Okay. So now we're wanting to break this down even further. So we go for the year, which, you know, is just 0 through 9 4 times. I know years don't start with a 0 typically, but, you know, just go with it. And, you know, if we break this down, 0 to 9, perfect. There's a little bit of syntax here, which is like the square brackets, which means this is not a numeration. I forget. A range, thank you, yes. Perfect. So a range from 0 to 9. We want to repeat this 4 times. Perfect. There's another little bit of syntax here, which is the curly braces. And then if we want to encapsulate the entire thing, we just put some regular parentheses around it. So this is what we call a capture group. And we can address it later on with a back reference, as we call it, which will be number 1. So depending on the tool you use, it might be a $sign instead of the backspace. Sometimes you need to escape the backslash, sorry. We'll learn about that later. It doesn't really matter for now because this is a quick introduction, right? Did I mention this is called a lightning talk because you're talking fast? Anyway, right. So yeah, just as a quick hint, you can also use like the \d and the curly braces. Don't worry about it right now. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So let's represent this graphically, just very briefly. Right. So group 3 will be the year, which is 0 through 9. repeated 4 times, perfect. We've got this another 2 times for the months and the year, the months and the day. And then we, just for the sake of it, we have the slashes in there because that's how the date stamp is, the timestamp is currently separated. Beginning and end, and then there you go. Okay, perfect. So we're back to the date. We have broken down the components. So now we essentially know that this is going to be our regular expression. I know this seems like a big step, but it's really not, right? You've seen all of this before. All of the components have become very clear now. So essentially, these are the back references, the capture groups that we just defined. So quick demo time, so I can drink a sip of water. And there you go, sorted, brilliant. So we've replaced all of that with the right format. So just remember to click like the little regular expression bits up top, right? Because otherwise it's not going to find anything. Is this actually playing for you guys? Yeah, okay, perfect. It just keeps going here. Right, okay, tools. Very quickly, you've seen VS Code. Yes, you can use this in VS Code. Control F, Control H. If you're wanting to do some replacements. Robot framework, yes. So there's a couple of things that you can do. You've got the string library, which has got you. So there you have this, which is one of the keywords you can use, which essentially just down there, I marked it. That's where the regular expression goes. So this is regular expressions in robot framework. Sorry, the replace string and using regex. Yeah, right. So there's another couple ones you can use. I'm just going to gloss over them for right now because there is another thing you can do. But that's, for one thing, it's very fancy, but at the same time, you can kind of shoot yourself in the foot with it if you're not careful about it. Because you can use regular expressions in keyword names with embedded arguments. So that's fun. Again, I'll highlight the bit about the regular expression. As you can see, I'm using the \d here, and it's kind of sort of similar, right? Because it's like 4, then 2, then 2. So yeah, this is a date stamp as well. So please, feel free to have a look at the slides later on. Not going to go into much detail, but it's a pretty cool feature. Right, yeah, you can do it in Python, of course. One thing I would highly recommend is that you use the verbose flag and or named capture groups, right? Because that allows you to add some comments to it, format it more nicely so you can actually know what you were trying to do later on. Because that's one of the biggest things about regular expressions. Once you've written them, it's kind of hard sometimes to figure out what you wanted to do with them, especially if you're wanting to add features and stuff. Okay, brilliant. Got about 40 seconds left. So command line, if you take one thing away from this and you've not used it before, the Silver Searcher, AG, right? It's basically like grep, but like real fast, right? So brilliant tool, can't recommend it highly enough. Absolutely brilliant command line tool. Of course, that's ACK, there's grep, there's set and awk, and of course, FD or find. FD is basically just better find on the command line. Brilliant. Daniel Schiffman has some really, really great content on the topic. He's an amazing educator, sort of like similar energy levels to me. So if you're that kind of sort of thing, feel free. If you're not, skip it, and that's fine. All of his coding train content is amazing. There's a bunch of links if you're wanting to do like explanations and visualizations. That's fine. All of the docs and references in the. I know. Don't you dare. Okay. Okay. Docs and references, have a look at it. Caveat emptor, of course, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So do be careful. Regular expressions powerful, also kind of, Anyway, there is so much more. There's greediness, anchors, negations, alternations, assertions, look-ahinds, look-beheads, name capture groups, all sorts of crazy meta characters, character classes, unknown unknowns. Teach me. If there's anything that you think I have missed, please. And then I know this might sound like hyperbole, but there's rarely a day that goes by that I don't use regular expressions. It's really near and dear to my heart. So anyway, thank you very much. And since we're basically out of time, I just crossed that out. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Michael. What an excellent cadence for lightning talks.
You have a very weird definition of fun.
Well, yeah.
Because the other speakers had already their speaker shirts. You get the honorable
Thank
hat,
you.
So you have the lightning hat now.
If you have a fast cadence, you can ask one question. Does anyone have a quick question there on the left?
Is this on? Ah, good. Have you played Regex Golf or Regex Crosswords?
Sorry, how do I play it?
Yeah, have you played
Oh,
those?
there's just, some websites that you can go on. There's competitions and everything as well. Like, I don't participate actively, just...
Okay.
Hey,
Okay, thanks.
thank you, Michael. Awesome presentation.